for reporting, we have 9 reports to be submitted. So for monthly, there are 2 reports. Ito yung 4A, reports on FLD, smear microscopy, and expert inventory and requirements. And for 4B, reports on SLD inventory and requirements. Yung quarterly reporting naman, reports 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D, 2, 3, and 5. Later on, di-discuss natin yung mga reports na to. So, I'm sure familiar naman sila sa mga ibang reporting forms kasi ginagamit natin to before. And there are some reporting forms na may changes. The physician or immediate supervisor is responsible in ensuring accuracy and consistency of reports submitted. We should ensure that all required fields are encoded and updated in ITs. Ensure that the patients are classified according to prescribed definitions. Ensure that the source documents are consistent with encoded data in ITs. And also ensure that the counts from source documents are consistent with aggregate reports encoded into ITs. If with corrections, update IT's data until a correct report is generated. Once validated, click Submit button in ITs. Await feedback from PHO or CHO and the regional office when they check completeness, accuracy, and consistency as well. If with corrections, feedback is to be given to proper channels. Once validated, PHO, CHO, and regional office clicks Reviewed button in ITs. If report is already overdue, send a letter to the PHO or CHO requesting reopening of the submission of report, indicating the reason for delayed submission. These are the highlight of changes. Integration of all notification and treatment reports in Report 3 and all outcomes in Report 5. Changes in sequence of numbering for lab reports. Report 6, hospital referral removed. Actually, sa before naman na 5th edition ng MOP, we also have 9 reporting forms. But then I believe dito sa new edition natin, sa 6th edition ng MOP, medyo toxic sa una, but then if we get used to it, I believe mas detailed po siya. So for report 1A, quarterly report on expert MTB rate, smear microscopy MTB lang. As you can see the form po, halos similar naman po siya with the report 1A before. Kaya lang nadagdag lang si TB lang. So compared sa dati nating edition, yung part B is treatment follow-up yung nilalagay natin dito. Pero ngayon, may collaboration na po tayo sa paragonimiasis. So yung mga details din natin, mga testing. So dito din natin ilalagay yung regarding sa paragonimiasis cases. For report 1B, quarterly report online probe assay. So ito naman yung form for yung mga cases examined for first line LPA and the second line LPA. Mga laboratory lab staff po natin yung mag-fill out ng form na to because they are the one testing and doing the lab works. For report 1C, the quarterly report on TB culture, there are 4 parts sa reporting form na to, which is letter A, yung case finding, letter B, recovery rate and culture positivity rate for baseline specimens, letter C, workload and contamination rate, and letter D, lalagay na rin natin dito yung details regarding sa turnaround time. We can get the data from the laboratory register for TB culture and BSTB and TB culture workbooks sa Form 3D. For Report 1D, quarterly report on drug susceptibility testing. We will take note of the cases examined for the first-line TB drugs for isoniazid, rifampicin, ethambutol, pyrazinamide. These are the first-line TB drug susceptibility test and the second-line TB drug susceptibility test for levofloxacin, moxifloxacin, amikacin, or streptomycin. And the part B, ilalagay din natin yung turnaround time. We can get the data from the laboratory register for TB culture and DST and TB solid and liquid DST workbooks sa Form 3D din siya. For Report 2, the quarterly report on external quality assessment for TB microscopy. So this is similar din sa last edition natin ng reporting form. The data source for this report will be the EQA reports being accomplished by the provincial or the city validators. And si regional office naman ang magsasubmit ng report to the NTRL. For report 3, quarterly report on TB and TB preventive notification and treatment. Part A, the presumptive TB. So dito natin ilalagay yung mga number of screen through X-ray natin. We have activity in Zamboanga City and Isabela through screening by X-ray. And if okay na yung situation natin, we can push through the X-ray screening na rin sa mga provinces. So sa part B, the diagnostic TB cases. So ika-classify lang natin if pulmonary ba siya or EP, unknown, relapse cases or new cases. Part C, diagnosed DRTB cases. In the system, yung ITs naman natin, so na-detect niya if may duplication na nangyayari sa system. So automatic na siya mababawas. For part D, enrollment status of diagnosed cases 1 quarter ago. Part E, diagnosed TB in children. So, classify lang natin kung pulmonary siya, extrapulmonary, unknown, and ilan yung DSTB, DRTB, and then ating mandatory notification. Part F, ito na yung all forms by age and sex. So, parang summary na siya, mas madali siyang tingnan. Letter G, source of all diagnosed new and relapsed TB cases. For letter H, expert testing of all diagnosed TB cases. Letter I, TB cases started on treatment. Letter J, DRTB cases started on treatment. Letter K, LPA testing of drug-resistant TB cases. Letter I, HIV status of TB cases started on treatment among 15 years old and above. Letter M, BM status of TB started on treatment among 25 years old and above. Letter N, treatment supporter of TB cases started on treatment. Letter O, clinical research participation. Letter P, contact tracing of cases started on treatment. Letter Q, individuals given TPP. As you can observe, dati po meron pa tayong report 3A and 3B. So ngayon po sa bagong edition natin, so si 3A and si 3B, integrated na siya sa report 3 na lang siya. Si 3A before is for the STB lang and si 3B for the RTB lang. Report 4A is the monthly report on FLD smear microscopy and expert inventory and requirements. Si 4B naman yung second line drugs inventory and requirements. Before, we have two components of report 5. 5A is the quarterly report on treatment outcome of drug-susceptible TB cases, and 5B, quarterly report on interim treatment outcome of DRTB cases. But now, integrated na po siya si DSTB and si DRTB. Report 5 is the quarterly report on TB and TB preventive treatment outcomes. For letter A, final outcome of new and relapsed non-RRTB diagnosed 1 year ago. So sinasama na rin natin dito si mandatory notification. Letter B, final outcome of previously treated non-RRTB diagnosed 1 year ago. Letter C, final outcome of other cohorts diagnosed 1 year ago. Letter D, final outcome of TB preventive treatment cohort started on treatment 1 year ago. Letter E, final outcome of DSTB based on treatment location started on treatment 1 year ago. Letter F, final outcome of TPT cases based on treatment location started on treatment 1 year ago. Letter G, interim outcome of all DRTB cases diagnosed 1 year ago. Letter H, interim outcome based on treatment supporter, all DRTB cases started on treatment 1 year ago. Letter I, patients on novel drugs started on treatment 1 year ago. Letter J, final outcome of all DRTB cases diagnosed 2 years ago. Letter K, final outcome based on treatment supporter of all DRTB cases started on treatment 2 years ago. Letter L, post-treatment follow-up. Letter M, post-treatment outcome of all DRTB cases started on treatment 3 years ago. These reporting forms are to be accomplished and submitted quarterly and monthly by all DOTS facilities and laboratories. However, Hindi naman po natin agad-agad to gagamitin. These reporting forms are still for reproduction. Pero as early as now, at least we have seen and reviewed these forms. So we hope that our entity staff would know the encoding and submission of these reports. Pwede naman natin hingin ng assistance ni IT's PA if may mga troubleshoot or informations that we want to clarify. So that's all for recording and reporting. We would like to thank everyone for giving time to listen to this module. Let us all be safe. Thank you.